Sai Ram.
Namaste everyone. My name is Madhura Vardam and I'm a Pranic Healer. I'm going to give you some information about how the energy healing services work. If I may ask a show of hands, does anybody know how energy healing works or have heard about Pranic Healing before? No? Oh, okay, great. So basically, I just start with an introduction as to how Pranic Healing and I got associated together. It's when my daughter was doing her A levels, she met with a car accident, and the accident was quite bad, where she had severe right body injuries. And you know how pressurized and stressful the environment is when it's like A levels in January, where your kids are waiting for your university offers and introductions and the interview questions and other things So she was preparing for all that, and in the middle of it, the accident happened. And because of which the doctor said that she wasn't going to recover that easily. And we had this stress going around, and the accident did not look anywhere from the outside, it was only the bruises, but internal injuries were quite bad, and the muscles that were holding the retina of the right eye had gone loose. So she was having problems like seeing properly as well. And in the middle of all this, where the doctors were doing their best, the school started giving us hints that probably she should not give the exams this year. She should just drop out and probably do it next year. And where she was preparing for dentistry, you know how stressful medicine, dentistry, and all these engineering subjects are. So she was quite stressed with that. The pain wasn't helping. She wasn't able to lift her right hand or arm. That's when one of our very close friends told me there is something like Pranic Healing. Have you heard about it? Very similar to the expressions that most of you have here. I had the same question on my face, what is Pranic Healing and how is it going to help when the doctors have already said this? So I said, let's give it a try. There's no harm in just doing one session. I was told that it is a no-touch therapy. So that again raised question marks. Like, if it's a no-touch therapy, how is she going to feel better? So I initially thought it was a physiotherapy or something like that. But fine, fair enough. We thought we'll give it a try. I took her to the Pranic Healer. And there was about a 1 hour session that the energy healing happened. And after the session, when I asked my daughter how she was feeling, the first thing she said was the stiffness in the right shoulder was gone. And I was like, is this some kind of hypnotherapy? Because, you just start thinking, she was in severe pain when she came here, and now she's saying that the stiffness is gone and the pain is reduced a little bit. I said, that's a good sign. So we came back, and the next day I asked her, are you still feeling better? Because I wanted to find out whether the session thing has gone now and is the pain come back. But she said, no, Mama, I'm feeling much better. So we decided to do a couple other sessions as well with the healer. And eventually, in about 6, 7 sessions, she felt better. She was able to lift her right hand, hold the pen in the hand, and even the follow-up sessions, the doctor said the recovery is quite good. Faster than expected, which was a good sign. So obviously, we said, okay, let's continue with the sessions. And bless her, she's done all her exams. She's studying dentistry in her first choice university. So that kind of prompted me to think, what is Pranic Healing? And it would be nice if I'm able to help people the way the healer helped my daughter. So that's when the journey started. This was about 4 years ago, I would say. But during that phase, I started learning about Pranic Healing. So basically, Pranic Healing is nothing but, the word Prana is source of life, life energy. And there are several types of prana around us, which is like solar prana, earth prana, air prana. These pranas are the energy sources that actually heal us if we use it with the right techniques and tools. Our whole body has got an energy source. Now sometimes when we feel stressed, anxiety, or with the kids, most of the time you must have observed that the exam pressure puts them down. It's nothing but the energy blockages in their chakras or in the body. So if you have the right kind of techniques, you can actually heal them then and there. I mean, the whole point was Master Chomoksui, the founder of Pranic Healing, he not only was a spiritual leader, but was a chemical engineer by profession. He was a businessman. He actually researched and worked a lot on the theory of pranic healing for nearly decades. And that's when he published his first book, which was in 1987, called The Art of Modern Science and Pranic Healing, which is now called Miracles of Pranic Healing. If ever you get a chance to read the book, please do. Because that book kind of gives you the basics of what pranic healing is. So there are different types of techniques we are being taught in pranic healing, where you can actually not only treat the physical ailments, but also the emotional side of it. So physical ailments could include anything like similar example like Ria's case, or you have chronic diseases or inflammation in the body, diabetes, any kind of menopausal issues with women at the moment. But anything like that can be handled, and I'm not saying that it's used as a complementary therapy by medics as well. So I'm not saying do not take medical guidance. We do need medicines, but these are pranic therapies used as a complementary therapy along with medicine. But apart from that, if you look at, I mean, let me give you a simple example. How many of you know about tree hugging? Has anybody heard the term tree hugging? No? Basically, we've got such lovely parks here. They've got huge trees there. A day where you're feeling really tired, if you go for a walk, I would say just go and hug a tree for maybe just a minute and see the tremendous change in your energy. Trees are quite rooted down into the earth prana, and they absorb all your stress and negative energy. Just try it as an example and you'll see the difference what I'm trying to say here. So basically, this is what we're trying to do. We learn the techniques, there are tools available, and once you master your techniques, you're able to heal most of your clients in physical healing, in emotional healing. There are spiritual tools and guidances as well, where people have also got benefits for the finance healing, the business healing. So there is a lot of prosperity healing done as well if you know how to do the techniques and tools. The idea behind this whole purpose was, Master Joe Moxley always said, there should be at least one healer per household. So if you know how to do your basics, you're able to heal your children, your mom, dad, everybody. You're able to heal your own self. So the whole idea about pranic healing is, if ever you get a chance, I would highly recommend to read the book. And if you find it interesting, definitely join for the level 1 class. My daughter, she's currently studying dentistry, but she was so fascinated by the results. And because it was her herself would felt the difference, she's also learning pranic. All I'm trying to say is, you don't have to believe everything that I say today, but simple exercises, like I said, about tree hugging, or normal saltwater baths. Has anybody heard about saltwater bath? So there are certain things like I always advise my clients once in a week on a Saturday or whenever you've got that little extra time in your shower, always have a handful of salt and just shower yourself with the salt water. The negative energy, I'm not saying that intentionally anybody attracts negative energy. It's just that a simple example is when you take your small baby in a buggy round for a stroll, you always notice that when they go out, they're quite cheerful. But by the time they come back, they're quite cranky and irritated. Has anybody ever thought that why does that happen? The most common thing that comes to our head is, oh, my baby must be tired. That's the reason, probably, when I took them out, they were fine, and it's feeding time. That's the reason they're feeling it. Yes, that could be one of the reasons. But the other reason is, young kids are like sponge. They attract and absorb all sorts of energies around them. That is the very reason we try and make sure that our kids are most of the time protected more than the adults. So most of the times when they go out, not intentionally, but there could be people going around who've got stress energies in them. They get absorbed by our kids. And that is why I say that, simple things, simple techniques can help us protect our own energy levels. And we can always, make sure that physically as well as emotionally, we stay balanced. That is the whole idea about pranic healing. So thank you so much, Sai Seva Trust, and thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity to come and have this talk to you. Thank you.